7 Ancient Myths about Music Instruments. We all know that music benefits the human mind. It lowers anxiety and pain levels. It is believed to influence brainwaves, having both negative and positive impacts. The virtues of music are well explained even in ancient mythology. It is rife with myth. Bragi, the golden harp, and the song of life. Odin's son Bragi, sired with the giantess Gunlod, the daughter of the guardian of the vats of mead, was presented with a golden harp by dwarves. They then set him on one of their vessels into the world. He reached the realm of Nine, the dwarf of death. Bragi had barely shown signs of life, but he suddenly sat up, seized the golden harp, and started singing the song of life. While he played, his vessel kept moving and was cast ashore. As Bragi threaded his way into the forest, he kept playing. The sound of his music made the trees bud and bloom. There, he met Idun, the goddess of immortal youth. Together, they set to Asgard, where Odin traced runes on Bragi's tongue and made him the official bard and composer of songs. Dagda and Uaithne were harps that put the seasons in order. Uaithne is the harp that belongs to the Dagda, a fatherly god who's also the protector of the tribe. His harp put the seasons in the correct order. After the second battle of Magtwyred, the Fomorians seized Uaithne, and the Dagda was found in a feasting house. The harp so it would not sound until he would call to it. So, he called to it, and the Uaithne immediately sprang from the wall, killing 9 men on its way to its master. Pan and his flute. Pan's flute fashioned hollow reeds. Syrinx was a water nymph of Arcadia, the daughter of the river god Landon. She was returning after hunting and met Pan. She wanted to avoid interaction and ran to her sisters, who immediately changed her into a reed. The air blowing through reeds produced a plaintive melody. Pan, still infatuated and unable to tell one reed from the others, cussed 7 pieces of reed and joined them together, forming the syrinx. Hermes and the tortoise-made lyre. As an infant, the god Hermes, son of Zeus and Maia, the most beautiful of the Pleiades, was cunning and well versed in the art of theft. A few hours after his birth, he tried to steal some of Apollo's oxen. While heading out, he spotted a tortoise. He killed it, stretched 7 strings across its shell, and invented the lyre. After amusing himself with the instrument for a while, he separated 50 oxen from Apollo's herd. A dispute arose between the 2 brothers, which ended with Hermes winning. When Hermes discovered the lyre, he touched the chords. As soon as Apollo heard the sound, he told Hermes he could keep the oxen and dominion over all his flocks in exchange for the tortoise-made lyre. Orpheus, his lyre, and his severed singing head. Orpheus's wife Eurydice was walking in the grass at her wedding when a satyr laid his eyes upon her. Eurydice fell into a nest of vipers to escape him and was bitten. When Orpheus discovered her body, he played such a sad but beautiful song that all the nymphs and gods wept. Orpheus traveled to the underworld and, with music, softened the hearts of Hades and Persephone. They agreed to let Eurydice return among the living on one condition: Orpheus had to walk in front of her and not look back until they both reached the other world. As soon as he re-emerged, Orpheus turned to look, but, unfortunately, Eurydice was still in the underworld. Ovid recounts that, after his tragedy, he abstained from having female lovers and directed his affections to young boys, eager to enjoy their early flowering. Many women grieved at this rejection, particularly the Ciconian women, who were followers of Dionysus. They first threw rocks and sticks at him while he played his lyre, but the melody was so beautiful that the stones and sticks refused to touch his body. So, in a Bacchic frenzy, the women tore him to pieces. His head and his lyre were still capable of singing songs and floated down the Hebrus River to the Mediterranean shore. The waves then carried them to Lesbos, and the inhabitants eventually buried his head. As far as his lyre is concerned, it was subject to a katasterismos. The muses carried it to heaven and placed it among the stars. Väinämöinen and his 2 harps. Finnish demigod Väinämöinen went to a waterfall. He killed a pike and fashioned a harp out of fish bones. He accidentally dropped his instrument into the sea, and it fell into the power of the sea gods, and from here originated the music of the oceans. He later made another out of the forest wood, and with it, he descended into Pohjola, the underworld, looking for the mystic Sampo. This indeterminate artifact could bring fortune to its beholder. In the realm of darkness, Väinämöinen struck his harp and sent the inhabitants to sleep. He stole the Sampo, but a war broke, and it was lost forever. Tristan and the harp that set the lovers' tragedy in motion. Two star-crossed lovers drank a love potion disguised as poison. Before their affair officially started, they knew each other thanks to Tristan's harp. The Irish Duke Morholt, a giant and powerful knight, demanded tributes from Cornish King Mark. Tristan, a distinguished knight in Cornwall, decided to face Morholt in single combat. 3 days later, the two knights met on an island. Tristan had destroyed his boat so that only the winner could leave the island. After a fierce battle, Morholt was mortally wounded, while Tristan survived his injuries, even though Morholt had wounded him with a weapon smeared with poison. Only Isolde the Elder, Morholt's sister, could heal that wound. At Morholt's burial, Isolde the Elder's daughter Isolde the Fair, found a splinter of Tristan's sword in Morholt's wound and kept it with her. Soon after Tristan's return to Cornwall, his wound began to decay. Since no physicians could heal him, he went back to Ireland to get treated. He disguised himself as Tantris, a harpist. His skill with the harp was so remarkable that Isolde the Fair wanted to learn how to play. She healed his wound, and 40 days later, he returned to Cornwall.